In today's video, we're going to be going over how to create audio reactive materials, as you can see here, using MetaSounds in Unreal Engine 5. So this is just a basic example of some music in the background, and this material is changing the intensity of the emissive color based upon the intensity of the bass within the music as well. So you can have this set up for absolutely anything you want, maybe for a jump scare, if you have a sudden scream, you can have all the lights in the room light up as well, or anything along those lines. This is just the basic example, as it's the most visual and easy to show off. But again, you could really come up with some cool ideas for horror elements, or if you have a club in your game, or anything along those lines. But this is what we're going over and creating today. So without further ado, let me delete this and I'll show you how I've done it. So the first thing we want to do is you obviously want to import whatever audio it is that you're using. So for me, I just have this music here, which I've got off of Freesound, which I'll leave a link to in the description down below. And so what we want to do with that audio is turn that into a MetaSound. So we're going to right click, go to audio, and then create a MetaSound source. I'm going to call this MSS for MetaSound source, underscore, and then I'm going to call this reactive audio. You can name this whatever you want. That makes the most sense for me. And I'm going to open it up straight away. In here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my unfinished one shot in the top left and then just delete that so we can get rid of that and that warning as we don't need it. And then above that, I'm going to create an output and I'm going to name this intensity and make sure that is a float. And then we can just drag that into our event graph as well. So we now have this input, output of out mono, and output of intensity. Out of our input, we're going to get wave, player, mono, and we just want the one. You can get stereo as well if you want, but for me, mono works fine. But this is going to be actually playing the sound, so however you want it to sound, make sure you pick the correct one for you. I'm then going to select my wave asset, which for me, I called SW_music. And I'm also going to tick loop, as again, this is music for me, so I want it to loop. Then out of out mono, I'm going to get envelope follower, like so. I'm going to drag these out to get some more room. And then I don't need to change anything in here. This is going to be perfect for me. Then the envelope is going to go into our output intensity. And then out mono from the wave player is going to go into output of our out mono as well. And that is literally all we need to do in here. It's very, very simple. All we're doing is playing our audio and then just making sure we are getting an envelope to basically get the intensity of the bass into a float form. So we can save this and then let's actually create our material now. So we'll go back into our content browser, right click, go to material and call this one M_audio reactive. Again, whatever makes the most sense for you. I've done audio reactive and reactive audio, but you get the idea. Whatever makes sense for you, and open this up straight away. Now for me, this is again just going to be a basic material, but you can customize this however you want. So I'm going to hold down 3 and left click to get a 3 vector or constant or just a color. And I'm going to change this to just be bright pink. You can set this to whatever you want, but I think for me, bright pink is just going to be nice to show off. And then we're going to hold down M and left click to get a multiply with that color going into A. And then B, we want to hold down S and left click to get a scalar parameter. And I'm going to name this one audio intensity. And that is then going to connect into B. And we don't want to set a default value to this. We'll leave it at 0. And then what we would do is just connect that straight into the emissive color. However, what I want to do is just multiply this again. So again, another multiply. The first multiply going into A, B, I'm going to just set to 3. And then that multiply goes into the emissive color. You do not need to do that at all. This is again, just for the purpose of the video, I felt that just having it as its default was still not too intense enough for me. So I'm just multiplying it by 3 again, just to bring it out that little bit more, make it even more visual. Again, you don't need to. That is just my preference of how it looked. Mess about with it a bit to get the look that you're after. But that's our material set up. Now we need to create a blueprint to link this material and this MetaSound source. So let's go back into our content browser once again. Right click, create a blueprint class and create an actor. And I'm going to name this one BP, and you guessed it, reactive audio. We've gone back to reactive audio instead of audio reactive. And let's open this up straight away. In here, we're going to add in a static mesh for what we want our material to be on. So for me, again, as you saw, this is just going to be a sphere just for the nice purpose of actually, visualizing this easily. I'm going to scale this up a little bit as well. And then we want to change our material to the material we've just created, which for me is m underscore audio reactive. Perfectly like so. Now, if we compile that, that is completely black for some reason. So let's go into our audio reactive, and we probably just need to press apply. And if we go back in here, you can see now that looks perfect like so. What we also want to do in here is we want to add another component, adding in audio, and we just want the default audio there. And this is going to be our MetaSound source that we created. So MSS for me, reactive audio, perfectly like so. And now in this blueprint, we have both our material and our audio. So how do we actually link these values together? Well, if we go back to our event graph, we can delete event active begin overlap, and on event begin play, what we're going to do is we're going to get our sphere, drag out of this, and we want to create dynamic material instance, making sure the element index is correct for us. For me, my material element is 0, so that's fine. The source material, we're going to set to the correct material. So for me, m underscore audio reactive. And then out of the return value, we're going to promote this to a variable, naming this audio material or reactive material, whatever makes sense for you. And then we're just going to make sure we want to apply this onto our sphere or our mesh. So let's then get a reference to our sphere and set material like so, making sure the element index is again correct, setting the material to the audio material perfectly. Now that we have a dynamic material instance, we can actually modify this audio intensity scalar parameter in here. So to do that, I'm going to be doing this off of event tick. You don't have to, but you do need to make sure you are constantly calling this and constantly updating it. So it can be on event tick, or it can be on a set timer by event, whatever way you want to do it.
Hey guys, Editor Matt here. Sorry for the quick interruption. Just want to make a quick amendment to the video. So what you're about to see me do is create this code down here. Don't worry that you've not got this yet. You will get it in a minute. You're about to see me create this on event tick. I did have a whole explanation of why event tick is fine, or to optimize it with set timer by event and all of that. However, you do not need to do event tick or anything like that. You can instead just do this off of event begin play. So you can come out of your set material, go into watch output, which we're about to do. So again, don't worry, just remember this bit here, and just don't do it into event tick. So you'd have it coming out of the event begin play like this instead. So again, I apologize for that in the video. Everything that you're about to see going on in the next part of the video, do the exact same, just do it off of event begin play instead of event tick. I thought about re-recording the video from that point on instead. However, it doesn't really need it. This is perfectly fine. Literally the only difference is you're doing event begin play instead of event tick. So again, I apologize. Hope this all makes perfect sense. This will make a lot more sense in a minute once you see all of this, but I thought I'd just interrupt the video here instead of after doing the code. You know, it was nearly 9:30 at night when I filmed this, so it made a small mistake. But I think it's also important to kind of highlight where I make mistakes, because, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this stuff, mistakes still happen, and it's important to recognize that and learn from them instead of just ignoring them and pretend that they don't happen. So this is a much more optimized way of doing it. The watch output is going to be constantly watching it. You don't need to be telling it to fire off all the time anyway. So yeah, everything is the same going forward from the rest of the video. Just don't do it on event tick. Do it on event begin play instead. If for whatever reason this doesn't make sense to you, make sure to leave a comment down below or reach out to me on my Discord, and I'll be sure to help you get this all figured out. So sorry once again, but let's get back on with the video. But now let's actually get on with doing this. So what we're going to do is we want to right click and get MetaSound output subsystem. All the way down here, this MetaSound output subsystem. Then out of this, we're going to watch output, connecting that into event tick, or again, whatever event you're doing it on. And the audio component wants to be our audio component that we have inside of this blueprint. Then the output name wants to be the name of the output which we created, which for me was intensity. You can see here. Make sure this is spelt exactly the same. So for me, it is all one word, just intensity with a capital I, like so. Then we're going to come out of the event delegate, so this kind of red square here, and we're going to add custom event, and I'm going to name this one update material, because you see this is obviously going to fire off on output value changed. Then we're going to come out of output, and we're going to get float. And this is now going to get the correct float value output that we have created and we want to access. So we can then modify that scalar parameter. So to do that, we're going to get our audio material and then set
scalar parameter value, connecting that into get float, and the return value is going to be the value of our set scalar parameter like so. And the parameter name, again, wants to be what we called our scalar parameter, making sure to spell it the exact same way. So for me, that is audio intensity, capital A, capital I, 2 words. If we compile and save that, this should now be working perfectly for us. If we were to get this into our world, so BP audio reactive, like so, into our level, and then let's hit simulate, we should see that we can hear the audio playing, and we can see the material is lighting up based upon the intensity of this audio as well. So this is working absolutely perfectly for us. So I think that'll be it for this video, as we've done everything we've wanted to do. What we've done is we've gone over creating an audio reactive material so that it is going to change colors, or the intensity of the emissive color for us in this example, based upon the intensity of the bass in the audio as well. And again, in our example, it's just some music running constantly in the background. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, please do make sure to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help me and my channel out a lot. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.